Hello everyone, I'm Tommy Gaillard from France, and today I will introduce you the ENCOSH Platform. So it is a recent international collaborative tool that has been made for many and diverse stakeholders worldwide to better tackle human-wildlife interaction issues. So firstly, I will quickly introduce myself to tell you how I got this idea of platform. So actually, I did my first studies along Wangi National Park in Zimbabwe, where my aim was to better understand crop eating behavior of elephants and baboons. But my strong willingness behind that was to meet both human needs and welfare and wildlife preservation. I do strongly believe that it is a complex but also an urgent issue that we do have to tackle today, locally and globally. So this is why after this work, I joined the association ESA. So our global objective is actually to find the balance between human activities and wildlife preservation. And one of my first work there with them was to go on the field and to do a documentary on the challenges of coexistence between human and wolves in 3 countries, France, Switzerland, and Italy. And my objective there was actually to meet different stakeholders on the field and to also discover different type of initiatives there on the field, so that I could have a better idea whether this platform could be a good idea and whether I could, how I could implement this tool for stakeholders. So after all this work, actually, I try to find different stakeholders from different regions of the world to co-create this platform. So it's a collaborative approach to make this tool appropriate to different stakeholders worldwide. Okay, so now why is this platform? Why this platform can be useful for all of us? There are a few reasons that I will explain you now. So one of the first things is that we do know that there are many people worldwide that do face similar issues related to wildlife activities. It could be crop eating damage by elephants, or by primates, or by herbivores, or there could be also livestock depredation by different carnivores in various continents all around the globe. Okay, or also human-wildlife interactions that can be an issue for human lives. Okay, also wildlife damage. So we often talk about human-wildlife conflicts, but actually, when we think about it, it's more about competition over food and space between humans and wildlife. And that is different than conflict between humans over wildlife. Okay, so obviously there are some costs for humans. Usually that could be costs on food damage, economic costs, but we still often forget about the psychological and social impact of this damage to humans, and we should take them into account if we want to better act locally. So there are obviously also costs for wildlife, because many people still today do not know how to face these issues, and ritual killing is still a measure that is a measure that exists today. And it is a major threat for many wildlife species over the globe. Okay. So the second thing that we have to take into account is that over the last decades, many and diverse initiatives have been tested all over the world on different species, on different continents, different type of initiatives have been tested. And the thing is that among all the initiatives, many could be adapted to different regions. Obviously, there are some that can be adapted to a single species or to a particular context, but there are many others that could be adapted to different countries for different type of wildlife species. And another thing is that actually there is no single solution to tackle effectively human-wildlife coexistence issues. We have to combine different initiatives to act locally. So it is often, we should actually follow a holistic approach. Actually, I do see that as a Rubik's Cube, you know, where you have 6 different faces and each side could be a type of action lever that we should implement. Actually, there was a recent WWF report, that highlighted 6 different action levels that we should implement. One of them is understanding the conflict, the situation locally, obviously. Prevention measures are also really important to prevent conflict or damage. And then you all know about mitigation measures to try to reduce or stop as much as we can the damage done by wildlife or on humans. Okay, and we shouldn't forget monitoring, which is important to follow, to measure the effectiveness of actions and initiatives that we are implementing locally. And response mechanisms are really important. That could be, for example, response team to rapidly act when there is an issue locally. And then we shouldn't forget about all policy instruments or schemes that should be undertaken by government at local or more global scale. Okay, so actually what I'm trying to say here is that we should take into account the whole complexity of the problem to find the right and appropriate solution. Okay, and finally, something else I've learned on my work, and this is one of the reasons of this platform, is that information about all these initiatives and solutions sometimes is not available. I mean, sometimes you have someone trying some initiative here on the field, you have the initiatives, but only few people do know about it. Whether it could be useful by neighbors or from people at different places around the globe, and so that can be a problem. Some of the times the initiative is shared, but there is a lack of qualitative information, and that is also a problem because you do know about the initiative, but you don't really know how to implement it, on which conditions you could implement it, and it can be a real lack of time and energy if you don't know all this information. And finally, sometimes it is available, you have qualitative information, but it's not comprehensible to all. What I mean, for example, if you have all this information shared only in a scientific paper in English, for example, many stakeholders will not have access to this information, which would be a shame because they could use this information to better tackle the coexistence issues locally. So that is really important because we shouldn't underestimate the importance of sharing this knowledge, because from today, all of us, it could be a gain of time, money, energy to many of us trying to tackle these complex issues. So I invite all of you to share what you know, also what doesn't work is important. Okay, so finally, another thing that we should take into account is that there is a diversity of stakeholders involved in and concerned by these coexistence issues. And we should cross the gap between them and try to work together, because we have complementary knowledge, experiences, and skills that is really complementary, so that we can really act well locally. So for summarize, I would say that I do see that as a big puzzle, where we do have all the pieces that are all out there, but they are all scattered over the globe. And the aim of ENCOSH is to gather all these pieces together, so that all of you, all of us, can make its own puzzle locally. Okay, so let's have a look on the platform now, so that I will introduce you this new tool. Okay, so here, let's say it's your first visit and you are just a simple member, a simple user, sorry. So here you first can choose your language. The platform is available in English, French, and Spanish, but you also have all the automatic translations, so that you can translate the content in other languages. Okay, then one of the first things you can do is to go here to find and search different type of solutions and initiatives. You here have 3 different type of ways to look for the initiatives. If you click here on all initiatives, you can get access to all the initiatives. You here can see there are today 92 initiatives available that you can see on a list or on a map. Then let's say you have a much more better idea of what you are looking for. You can use then this detailed search, and let's say here you select your action level. You can say that let's say you are interested about deterrence and repellence, and also about all type of fences, about to manage crop issue. Let's say you want to see all initiatives about that in Africa. Then after your selection, you click on OK, and here are all the initiatives from your research. Okay, so here you have 2 types of data sheets. Whether you have simplified data sheet, where you have a global overview of the initiatives to know what it is, but then you also here have technical sheets, where you have much more detailed information. Okay, so here let's see this technical sheet on alternative crops. And here the aim is that you have all qualitative information to better know whether the initiative could be adapted to your own local context, but also all information how to implement, use, and maintain these initiatives. Then, if you are a member, you can also use the comment section. So you will ask questions and exchange with the initiative leader, so that you can better know how to implement it, or also to share your own feedback. Some other thing you can do as a member that is really useful is to download it in PDF. So that would be much useful if you want to share it more globally to your colleagues or to your network, and even if you want to print it off, to use it on the field, to share that with people on the field that could implement this initiative with you. Okay? So now another way to look for the initiatives is to have a look on this toolbox. Here we have made different types of toolbox, okay, depending on a wildlife species or on a specific action level or specific wildlife species. Okay, you can have a look there. So let's say, for example, you are interested on elephants. You have to take into account that not all initiatives here could be adapted, but you should go and have a look to all of them so that you will know which one could be adapted to the on local context. Okay, but what is really important to take into account also is that you can have a look to, even if you work, for example, in Zimbabwe on human-elephant coexistence, you could find other initiatives on different countries, but also on different species. For example, here you have a toolbox on initiatives that could be adapted for on different continents or regions, and that could be useful for yourself. Okay, so as a simple user, still you can go here on Explore and have a look on different webinars and talks on this topic. You can also contact us if you want to share your own talk or webinar on a topic related to human-wildlife interaction. A new thing also that we did implement lately was a forum. So it could be a really useful tool for all of you if you want to share questions, ideas, opportunities of collaboration or work on any topic related to human-wildlife interactions. That can be a really specific or really large topic. And the good thing here, you can create a new topic. And if it's a topic that could be of interest for you, you can translate the discussions in your own language so that you can speak with other people that do not speak the same language as yours. Okay? So let's now, you want to become a member, and I will show you straight away what you can do. Here, you have to click on register. Okay, that's quite simple. And here you just have to fill up this information about your name, email, and password. And the only thing you have to do actually to become a member is to do that and to accept the terms and conditions and privacy policy of the platform. Okay, and then you are a member. Okay, so now you're a member. Every time you go on the platform, you can here quickly log in, and then here you are on the platform as an official member. Okay, so sometimes it can take a bit of time, but it should be okay. Here you are. It didn't work this time, but so I'm trying again to log in just to show you. So here I am. So here you can go there and have a look. You will have a profile section that it is your word. It is your profile section. So it's about mine. So here I invite you, as soon as you are a member, to give more details about yourself, about your professional experience. Okay, and that would be really useful for others to know who you are and to exchange. Here also you have a section about all the initiatives you have shared on the platform. I will speak about that later on. Or your comments, or your favorite initiatives, and messages also with other members of the platform. So that is actually another thing useful on the platform. You can go here and have a look on the network. You see that today we are about 407 members, 409 members from more than 40 countries worldwide, which is already a big international network of diverse stakeholders. And let's say you are interested in exchanging with people working on Lion. You type here on Lion, you click on search, and here you will have all stakeholders on the platform working on Lions. Okay, you can have a look here. This is why it is useful to fill up your profile section. And let's say I'm interested to talk with Brent Staplecock working in Zimbabwe, and here can start a message to talk with him. Okay, so you can even create groups between you so that you can have a talk about specific subjects. Okay. Then another thing really important that you can do as a member is to add an initiative. Okay, because it is a collaborative platform. So all what you see on the platform is about people, members from all over the world who shared what they did, what they know about initiatives to tackle these issues. So here you have two options, whether it is your own initiative and you have experience about it. So you click here on submit your initiatives, okay? And you here have a form to fill in. So here you can tell all what you know, all details about your own initiatives. Then you can whether save the draft if you are not yet ready, or and then when you are ready, you submit the initiatives. Okay, then our team will review it and we will send you back some comments and suggestions before it will be validated and available on the platform. Okay, so that we make sure that it is a qualitative work to share with everyone on the platform. And the good thing for you, if you do that, you will have your own technical sheets that you can print off on PDF, and that's a good way to highlight your work, okay, with many people worldwide. And to have also, it is also more chance for you to have feedback from different stakeholders who maybe have tried something similar, you know. The other way to add an initiative is, for example, initiative is not yours, but it's not on the platform. So here you can click on add initiatives and you here have access to a simple form, really easy to and really easy and quick to fill in, so that we will know about the initiatives. And our team will try to get more information about these initiatives. Okay, so well, one of the last things really important that you can do as a member on the platform is to do your own toolbox. Okay, for example, here you can see my own toolbox. Today I'm working in French Guiana on a project on human jaguar coexistence. So here share my own initiatives. So on my toolbox, you can see some of my own initiatives, but also some of them are from different countries, in Mexico, for example, or in Argentina, and but also some other you can see here that are other continents, are initiative from other continents, other species, but I think that can be useful to adapt in my own local context. So it is quite simple. When you look at the initiative, every time you think one initiative could be useful for you, you just have to click on it to add it on your toolbox. And then you can have a look at your toolbox. You can share any initiative with any stakeholders, with your team, for example, and then you can gather all this information so that you will adapt this initiative locally to better tackle human-wildlife coexistence issues. Right. So here we are. I think I've told you the main guidelines from this platform. Now I will let you ask your questions, and I will do my best to reply to all of you. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Now, questions. So if anybody has any questions, can they put their hand up? Or if you'd rather not ask it, you are welcome to ask it in the comments. I think, and I'll just look through the chat. Maria, if you could unmute yourself. Yeah, and tell us a little bit about what you do and what it involves for people learning here.
Hi from me. Nice to see you. And Tommy, thank you for the great presentation. I really love the site. It's really, I'm following it since the beginning, and it's really evolving great. And there are so many things right now on the site, and I think that there are things from all over the world that they could be tested in other countries as well. Well, a little bit about myself. I'm now doing my PhD on wolf livestock conflict, and actually now I'm in the process of writing my second paper, let's say. Sorry, I'm a little bit stressed. I have interviewed sheep goat and cattle farmers in Greece, and I have I'm now studying the efficiency of traditional protection measures in reducing wolf attacks, and well, the results are very interesting actually, and it's very interesting that I'm comparing also the husbandry systems that sheep, goat, and cattle producers are using, and this is the first time that it is being done in European conditions, let's say. And we can see that in general, cattle farmers are they have more loose husbandry systems compared to sheep, goat herds. I don't know. I suppose that this is very common in many European situations, and maybe in globally, let's say. And well, this is an issue because now we have a lot of damages being done to cattle, and they really need to start taking care of the herds, and actually implementing protection measures that they have traditionally implemented in sheep, goat herds. And yeah, this is one of the main results of my research, let's say.
Okay, very interesting indeed. Thank you, Maria. Tommy?
Yeah, thank you. It's really interesting, and I think it would be great if you do share it on the platform, so that we will better learn on how better know details. I mean about it.
Yes, as soon as it is published, I will, of course, share the results on the platform. And actually, I would really love to have been a greater part of this platform, but really my time now, it was very limited. So yeah, maybe in the future I will have more time for this.
Yeah, I do understand. Then you can simply, if you want, you can even use the forum to tell what you do. I mean, in just a few minutes, you can also, it's a way sometimes when people do not have much time, what I do understand, obviously, is to sometimes just share, okay, I'm trying to do that at the moment, we do not have the results, but sometimes maybe it could be also useful for you, because maybe someone else, even maybe on the same country or continent, but maybe other ways, someone else is trying to do the same thing, and you know, that could be a gain of time also, I believe, so that we move forward together. But thank you for sharing.
Indeed. You're welcome.
All right, I think, Deirdre, you have a very good question, and one taken out of my own mouth. Conflicts with birds are very common too. Tommy, have you got anything on birds on there, and how many researchers are sharing about human-bird conflict? But more, yeah, I mean, I guess the conflict is the humans killing the birds in many cases. Over to you, Tommy.
Yeah, it's is a great question. Actually, to be honest, I mean, this platform indeed has been created was the aim actually is to try to take into account all different wildlife species. But as it is a really complex issue, as you know, we decided at first to focus on medium and large mammals, so terrestrial mammals at first, to do all this sharing, but then obviously we will try step by step to enlarge and to focus on other species as birds or reptiles or any wildlife species actually that we should take into account. So for now, there is nothing on it, but I do hope that we will soon take these wildlife species into account. But obviously, if any of you has already some knowledge about birds or reptiles or others on any species, or have a willingness to share about or learn about anything, please share it straight away, or even talk about it on the forum, and that will give us more chance for all of us to share that. But thank you for
perhaps you'd like to share like where your interest in birds lies, or is that just something that you've developed an interest in?
No. I work in human wildlife conflict since 2001 as a one-person consultancy, and many of the problems I've dealt with relate to different birds, but also relate to wolves, for instance. And it's you may think like okay, these are totally different problems, but if you think in terms of learning principles and the effect of early life experience in animals on their choices at a later age, there's a huge parallel between how birds develop, how birds adapt, let's say, to the local environment, and how routines and adaptations in mammals develop. So in that sense, yeah, if you arrange the platform in terms of species, you may lose, let's say, that kind of analogy. So yeah, maybe the designers of the website may also think of items like development of prevention methods based on teaching wildlife, so based on learning principles, and then it doesn't matter anymore, it seems, whether it's mammals or birds.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for your suggestion. I mean, I do agree with you. This is why, I mean, on the toolbox you have, I mean, you have different ways to look at or to find some initiatives, because yeah, as I said, and I think we agree on that. Sometimes an issue or initiatives can be adapted just to a specific wildlife species, but as it is a complex issue with different dimensions and type of action levels, obviously, if you focus on prevention practices, you can have a practice tested on elephants in Kenya that could be maybe useful for you in Netherlands, or I don't know where in Europe on birds. So yeah, I think it could be a good way to learn from each other.
Just
you have more specific questions?
Yeah. Just to give an example, we published a paper from the wolves that are currently migrating into the Netherlands out of Germany, and the behavior of the parents in Germany predict what kind of behavior is shown by the migrants that are coming into the Netherlands. So whether or not they kill sheep, or whether or not they approach humans, that's something that is in fact predicted by how the parents have behaved during childhood of the wolves. You see a similarity with rooks, which are a kind of crows which nest in big colonies, and they too return to the site, let's say, where they are bred. So in terms of stubbornness at a problem location, the mechanism of what you learn during childhood is very important to understand, let's say, the choices that finally may turn out to become problematic. So this is just a simple example, let's say, which shows that if you think in terms of development of an animal and development of routines, that there is a big analogy between loads of species.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I do understand that, and I appreciate that you share that here. I think that would be great if you can share that. I mean, what you just said on the platform, maybe on the forum as a start, so that I'm sure other people from different countries will be interested about this analogy. Maybe it could lead to a more collaboration work with other countries or other people in different countries. What do you think?
Right. No, that's all right.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I didn't share it further, but I thought let's first see the explanation about ENCOSH by the inventor himself.
Okay, thank you anyway for sharing, and don't hesitate if you need further guidelines.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your initiative. It's really great and important. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I just want to draw your attention to Christine Lepai, who has some bird-friendly efforts in Cambodia, where they're protecting the giant ibis through developing a rice species that is quite important. So do have a look at that article. And then, Tommy, there are a few questions that have now come in on the chat box. So Alexandra says, can we find papers published that are linked to the initiatives on the platform? So if there's any publications, do you mention those on the platform?
Yeah, good question. Actually, it depends on the initiative, but obviously, if you find an initiative on the platform that depends on the research work, you just have to click on the initiative, and you will find on the datasheet a link to the publication. Then just to take into account that obviously you can share your research work on this platform, but it has been made also that this research work can be also comprehensible to any type of any stakeholders. You know, this is why it's not just focused on publication paper, but obviously publication paper could be included on the datasheet so that you can get further details. Let me know if I went were replied.
Alexandra, do you want to unmute and confirm that that's answered your question there?
Hi, Tommy. Thanks for your presentation. Yeah, you answered me the question. Thank you so much. I think it's a great platform. I am a PhD student as well, working with jaguars and pumas in Colombia. I am part of the Carnivore Coexistence Lab with Dr. Adrian Treves in the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And yeah, right now I am in the part of analyzing my data, and I will create an initiative when I have the results of my experiment. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
But it's super cool to have so many different people on the platform. So, Tommy, we have a question from Simon who asks, is ENCOSH set up for phones, or is it at the moment just a computer-based program?
Good question also. I mean, actually, you can use it on your phone, but there is no specific application of ENCOSH available. Maybe one day, but we need more funding for that. But it's something I think about to make it more convenient on the phone. But if you go on Google on your own phone, you can use it and share it. And don't hesitate if you do that to send you back your feedback, positive or negative, so that we will take into account all your comments, because this tool is made for all of you, so that if you have questions, ideas, suggestions, please share with us, because it is to make it as appropriate and useful as possible for all of you. So thanks for the question.
And that leads me, Tommy, to a good question from David. And I guess this is kind of, you know, the idea of that everyone can contribute and create their own profile. But he asked, how often will the toolbox information be updated to conform to the development of knowledge or improvements on different techniques, especially, I guess, improvements in the different techniques?
How often it is updated, you mean? Yeah, that is the question. I mean, it is updated all over the time. So to be honest, it depends on the contribution of all of you, of all users and members. You can you can have information sometimes every day. Some of the times it can be longer. So for now, we don't have an email notification, but it's something we are thinking to implement on the platform, so that if you are interested on I don't know, any specific issue or species or anything, you could have soon you could type it on the platform, so that you will get notification as soon as you got something else. But then you can have a look also on the home page, and at the right you can see read news, and you can have sometimes here, if you go there, you can see new initiatives or new webinars or new events that are new on the platform.
Right, we have two good questions from Carmilla here, and she asks, is this platform or this initiative somehow linked to the IUCN, the SSC, or the human wildlife conflict side?
Yeah, good question. We are not linked with them. No, we are not linked. It's something independent. But I did write to them to tell them about from the very beginning, actually, to tell about this idea. Then the approach is more scientific, as I would say. So it is a complementary work, because the IUCN they do more on the website. They have all articles or publication on the subject, and here it's to try to include also scientific, but also to get all of the stakeholders that do not have scientific publication or results, but they do have a really important knowledge that we should take into account. So
fabulous.
Yeah.
Right, she has a second question, Tommy, and this one is a bit longer. Camilla says, do you have any information or experience on how to actually communicate in terms of strategy or methodology to communities who are involved in conflict or caught between conflict, maybe drawn from your experiences? And before I hand that over to you to answer, I'd just like to say, Camilla, we had a fantastic presentation from a lady called Maureen Kinanjui, and it is on our Unlocking Nature YouTube channel. Perhaps, Maret, you could see if you can find that and share Maureen's talk. But over to you, Tommy.
Yeah, let me know if I well understood. But yeah, if I well understood, you want to know if I know about specific incentives or initiatives to better communicate why there is a human-wildlife interaction issue. Is that right? Yeah.
Camilla, do you want to unmute and just tell us if that's correct?
And just to make sure I do answer to the specific question.
Yeah. Hi, Tommy. Hi, Holly. Thank you for the chance. Just to repeat my question, I was actually looking for any approach, or maybe just like simple tips on how actually communicate better to the community, so that we can build consensus together and agree on what method should we try on in order to reduce the risk of conflict or mitigate the conflict. For our case is with the elephant, because sometimes even just to start communicating with them, talking to them, it's quite a challenge. So if there's any examples or just experiences from you or from others, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's a great question actually, and thank you for that, because communication is a key, is a key, as you say, for promoting human wildlife coexistence. So and yeah, it's something I'm trying to learn about also. But for example, on the platform, actually, I've learned from someone initiatives. You can go on the platform actually, and when you go on the home page on search solutions, if you click on detailed search, you can click on action lever, and then community-based empowerment, and then you have all communication information and initiatives that are available on the platform. So that would be a first way, I think, for you. So yeah, I may try to share my on screen. So yeah, so I just did this research about what you say, about detailed search, or you can even hear on the you can type any keyword as communication, and here I was interested about all what you could find out all over the world, and here you can see the different initiatives. So I remember, let's say you can have a better look and more time about it. Here, for example, was one I was interesting about. It is about, I click on it. It is someone in Canada who actually, for better communicating about this issue, the strategy here, the initiative was actually that it was a rancher teaching ranchers about all strategies measures, and I think it was a good idea because it was someone from the field, and people could better understand if it is someone from the same, how can I say, from the same work than them. So it is one of them. And I think this kind of initiative, for example, could be implemented in all countries for any type of wildlife species. But yeah, you can see on the platform any other initiatives about communication, and yeah, another way for you to have a more details, it can be to go on the forum and to ask you specific questions to the members, and I will do my best to share it on the networks so that you will find more answers, and I think that would be useful for anyone anyway. So thank you again for the question, and let me know if you need later on more guidelines or help for you for what you are looking for.
Now, Keith, I'm actually going to ask you to unmute here, and I'm going to put a few things to you. So first, I think the easiest is for Tommy to perhaps open the comments box, because Keith has got a great big question here. Well, yeah. Not so much a question, but opening to discussion. So he's suggesting that your platform really is great, and it's addressing the sort of preventative and management side of wildlife. So, all of these initiatives work on a restricting basis to kind of protect human livelihoods. But if we were to think about this in a bit of a different way, that we've got the wildlife having their land encroached upon by the increasing population number. And let's face the elephant in the room, the population number is going to be 3 billion on the African continent coming up. There is land encroachment. So how are we, or do you have any ideas from experience in how to, and anyone can come in on here, please, is how do we address land encroachment or providing alternative incomes, and even educating people in the need to protect resources? Keith, I open this to you to say, you know, are we looking at things that we are not actually able to do together? Can we have open conservation areas and expanding population, or do we have to fence important conservation areas, especially if they are important in a water tower perspective, and then there just has to be a fence? And that question comes to, how do we achieve sustainable coexistence on a long-term basis? My personal opinion is to say that sustainable coexistence with huge populations is not possible unless the population in the biodiversity hotspot is a low density. So there needs to be increased migration to urban areas for us to be able to preserve what's left. A very personal opinion. Tommy, over to you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's actually a really important and also complex question. So I do believe the solution is also quite complex. Obviously, I'm not saying that you have all initiatives on the platform. So it is, again, an invitation to all of you to share your ideas and initiatives. Here, maybe to come back to these questions, I do agree that it is not enough to just implement some prevention or protection measures. This is why here you can see different type of toolbox. And maybe if you take more time on the platform, for example, here you see it is a good way. Sometimes we have to think what we can do to have economic benefits for the people that have to cope with this wildlife damage. So here, for example, on this toolbox, you have different type of financial instruments that can be an action lever. I'm not saying the only one for sure, but one of them that can be that should be implementing locally to think about a long-term basis. But here again, there are different type of initiatives, and this is why on the detailed search you can hear on the action level see about policy and legislation. I think that could be instruments that are important to implement to avoid this and to cope with this land encroachment. Research work are also type of initiatives important. Transformation about social conflict also. So yeah, no, I think some initiatives here on the platform can be useful for that, and I'm sure that there are some others that are not yet on the platform. So please share it or even use the forum so that we can better exchange on this topic important to work on. So thank you.
Keith, I don't know if you want to unmute and add any of your own sort of thoughts to this. I see you living in Uganda. I used to live there for a good nearly 7 years, I think. So I know a lot about wildlife in Uganda. So over to you, Keith.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been a very interesting session. Just a little bit of background on me. I've been working in the private equity sector up here in Uganda in the agribusiness sector. And I'm moving over. I'm at the sort of seed stage of putting together a conservation impact fund. So I'm just really sort of reaching out to people and wanting to promote the debate about how we can get external capital into the region and into businesses which generally are in the proximities of either national parks, forest reserves, that type of thing, whereby the business can obviously make a financial return, but then the local community can either benefit from the establishment of that business or ways to promote the harmony of the coexistence, because as you mentioned earlier, the population is growing, land encroachment is ever increasing. So I think just to be, fences and these types of things are great, but they're only, they need ongoing maintenance. It's an ongoing cost to somebody. Who is that somebody? So for it to be a sustainable policy for me moving forward, there has to be, and it's a very hard question, there has to be the sort of the development of this coexistence, whereby the local rural communities who are on the boundaries of these national parks or forest reserves, wherever they are, understand that the asset that they have on their doorstep, and how that can be translated into ultimately an income for them. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about an income. The local farmer, they just want a sustainable income to care for their families, send their children to school, this type of thing. And if there's not opportunities for them to do that, and that's where I'm trying to bring capital into those areas, then you will always have encroachment into the forest, or to go and take animals, or either to take trees and things. So it's a big discussion. It's a very difficult question, and I'm just trying to gather my thinking and discuss with as many people as I can as I try to put together this this conservation impact fund in Uganda.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I mean, we do agree, and thank you for mentioning it, because obviously it's not just as you said, prevention and deterrent measures are not enough, and because this is how the farmers, the people from the field, are the first one who have to cope with that damage. They have to be also the first ones that can gain an advantage of this wildlife. And this is why all these type of initiatives should be implemented on any coexistence project. I think that about what I know, there are some initiatives that are already on the platform. But as you said, it is really a large subject, and I don't know everything. This is why I created this platform, so that I think it could be a good way for you maybe to use a forum, and so that we could, any people interested in this subject could further talk about it, and maybe some of us, we have some ideas, suggestions about something they know. We could do like that. Do you think it could be a good way for you so that we could have a further exchange about it with different people worldwide?
Yeah, that'd be good. Great.
And don't hesitate to share also what you are doing. It seems great. So I think we will learn from you also. This is why this platform was created. So share anything you do, even if you don't have the results, you can already share what you are trying to implement and what issue you are coping with, any questions. This platform is to help each other on the same topic, even if we are not working on the same place. So please don't hesitate to share and ask questions and all of that.
Okay, I will do. Thank you so much. I'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm not going to go too much more in detail, but to say thank you to everyone. We're nearly 5 o'clock, and I just want to end on Dominic, who has a comment for you, Tommy, saying this platform is one of the best. I'm going to look into it in detail, and I think you are totally right there, Dominic. So thank you everyone for attending.
I just wanted to say thank you everyone for your to take some time to be here today, and don't hesitate to go there on the platform to have a look on the initiatives, to inspire from each other, and to share what you know, and to write to me if you are interested in training or any questions. Go for it. I'm sure we can continue to do a lot of good work if we go with this sharing dimension, which is essential, I think, today to tackle these urgent issues. So thank you again.